build out a really like emotional song with even not a lot of notes. And I think that translates the way that I approach my like my writing in Kiernan, like to just be really intentional about the notes that I sing and to have like some dynamic depth to it as well. I really like kind of building in like soft parts with loud parts and having like a lot of dynamic ranges throughout the songs.
Well, and that is a world that I appreciate and understand very little of. But I there is something magic about when music will make you feel something.
Yeah.
You know, either when music without lyrics makes you feel a certain way, or the music sounds upbeat and the lyrics are dire, or vice versa. I just think that there's... And is your degree in music?
No, I studied religion and French in college. I went to Carleton College.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wait.
That's as far as we're taking that? Yes.
Okay. So I went to college, like Carleton, what I was recruited as a soccer player. So that was like what I spent most of my time doing in college was sports. And music was something that I was quietly doing in my dorm room with my friends, but yeah, like I said, I never really was public about the music that I played until after college.
I think that's awesome. So you're a soccer player?
Yes.
A classical pianist,
yeah.
And you have a band. That is so much fun.
Yeah, it was. You know, we're on McAllister campus right now,
yeah.
And it was a little bit nostalgic to me to be back here. I drove past the soccer fields coming in. I was like, okay, I've spent some time, you know, on the soccer field against McAllister.
I can beat these women at the interview. I can do it. Yeah. That's so interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely am the type of person that has like a lot of interests in my life and have it's always a matter of finding the time to do everything I love.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I have at least one, maybe 3 kids who are very much like that. I think that's a good way to be.
Yeah.
I think that. And French, why French?
Truthfully, in the 5th grade when we as students were tasked with deciding if we were going to take French or Spanish, I wanted to be different and not take the one that all the other kids were taking.
Nice.
And my dad studied French a little bit in college, and like I was like, oh, croissants are tasty, like those. I
like croissants better than empanadas.
Yeah, I mean, like now. Looking back, like studying French definitely influenced my life in many ways, but like if I were like to know that I was gonna live in Minnesota, like Spanish would have been a lot more useful of a language to learn. But I'm very grateful for the time.
I have an ancient French minor, so I appreciate
that. Yeah.
Did you get to travel at all to?
Yeah, so I actually 2 years ago, I lived in Senegal in 2022 to 2023. And I was doing a Fulbright there teaching English. So I was also using my French there because it's a Francophone country. And in college, I studied abroad in Paris. So nice. I had, that's why, you know, studying French definitely like yielded so much of those like life experiences for me. But yeah.
Well, now I'm just going to have to ask the leading question. How has living in Senegal, has that had any impact on your music? Does that have a particular song?
Yeah, one of the songs that I'm going to share later, I wrote while I was there. I think that when I was there was like the most I had ever really been craving to like be playing music with others. And I like the music. The instrument there that I loved the most was the kora, which is it's kind of a descendant of the banjo. It's like a big gourd instrument with like strings that well, I'm doing gestures, but you can't see because it's on the radio.
It's helping me out.
But it's a very large instrument that sounds very, very beautiful, and it's in a lot of West African music, and it's similar to the banjo. Like the sound of it is very like I don't know, like bright and like tingy and resonant. And Sona Jabarta came through San Luis while I was living there in Senegal. She was here, speaking of the Dakota, she played at the Dakota last year, and I got to see her play there, and I would say if there's one person to look up who plays the kora, it would be her. And she's from the Gambia, which is in between Senegal, and definitely influenced like kind of the joyous nature of her music, and then also the real beauty of that instrument. Definitely was impactful to me.
That's nice. Yeah. Did you use music when you were teaching English at all?
Yes. Believe it or not, the most popular song for middle school girls at the time that I was teaching was Perfect by Ed Sheeran. And they loved that song. They could sing every word, and so we used the song Perfect to do a little grammar lesson with them. And I had a backpacker like Martin guitar, like a really small guitar. Nice. That I brought with me there, and so we sang and played that song together. Yeah.
I taught English in Catalonia, and it was always a Friday. All right, we're just going to listen to music, and you all try to get the lyrics.
Yeah.
You had to be real careful. I mean, some are very hard to. Some are hard for me to,
Definitely, it's challenging.
Forever in Blue Jeans, or as my mom calls it, Reverend Blue Jeans. The lyrics are notoriously.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Should we play that song now?
Sure, yeah. It's called All Over the Place, and it's off of our latest EP, Magnetic North, and we recorded it all in my drummer Nate's attic, so that's a fun fact about it. But at the very end, and this is really just for me because no one would note it otherwise, but there is a little bit of a recording of my friend playing the kora at the very end of the song that we auto-tuned to like kind of fit in, but it's a sweet moment.
All right, a little Easter egg for us.
Yeah,
I'm going to listen to it with new ears now. All right, Kiernan, here we go.
Oh yeah, and these are birds from Senegal as well.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah. Am I tagging this right?
WMCN.
WMCN. And yeah, okay. Yes.
And I think that's the right Instagram. What's funny is my co-host is the Instagram. I should know it. I think it's either mostly MN and I can't because we're live streaming. I can't check on my.
Yeah.
That's okay. They can't hear us. So they can hear us on the live, but that just makes it. I think the first couple minutes when we were talking wasn't online. So after this, I'll take a minute to say we're here with Laura.
Oh, cool.
Kiernan. What can you do?
Yeah, what can you do?
This is a study in improv.
Yeah.
Did you study at the Sorbonne then, or somewhere else?
It was through Carleton, and it was like a private
oh, nice
exchange program. So we weren't actually in a French school while we were there. We were studying with other foreign exchange students, which has its pluses and minuses for sure.
Bless you.
Thank you.
have a show tonight?
Yeah, I'm just playing at my friend's house.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to do house show stuff sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Today's supposed to be nice out.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think it will be.
That sweet spot is stuff I can't read.
Should I just let her keep going, or should we play?
No, we'll just play the one.
Okay.
That's the cool.
Okay.
Very cool.
That is All Over the Place by Kiernan, and we are lucky enough to have Laura Kiernan in studio.
Yeah.
That's lovely. It's nice to know that that's the core at the end. It really it brings a charm that
Yeah. I mean, the kora is an instrument that people spend years and years apprenticing and learning, and it's definitely something that's passed down through families. So it's something. It's an instrument that I very much cannot claim as my own, but I have a deep appreciation for it, and that was just like a little like nugget.
a little appreciation, a little nod.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what else inspires you to write? Or what is your writing process? Do you get inspired, or do you say at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning I'm going to write?
Definitely not organized enough to do that. I would say like I just like, since I was a kid, like I would, maybe it's just like the calmness that I can harness when I'm with an instrument.
Yeah.
Like it feels like, you know, I struggle with anxiety, and like music is something that is so calming to me. And so I think my process is like kind of entering into like a state of just like really like circling around some chords that I like, and you know, getting into that headspace where it's like the only thing that I'm thinking about is like this music that I'm playing, and then I you know, will kind of maybe hum a melody with that, but I almost always start with a melody and the like backing chords before I think about lyrics. That lyrics are something that I struggle with sometimes because and I don't know, maybe this goes back to like the like initial kind of entry into me playing music was something that I never had to think about words. It was just like all about the notes and the expression of the notes. But I you know, for some of the songs on the EP, I did use some like lyric writing tools, like taking like a magazine and cutting up like words.
Talk about that a little bit.
So I took a songwriting class through School of Song, which is an online songwriting class based out of California, and one of their earliest classes was with Buck Meek, who's the guitarist in Big Thief, and I mean he's such a major inspiration for my music, and he kind of gave us a lot of different recommendations for ways to be inspired, because you know there's this maybe like mythical concept of the songwriter who just sits down and just is like, I am inspired and I'm just gonna write this song right now. And the truth is, like, I think for most of us, like that's not sometimes a song kind of flows out of you and that's like very magical, but like not always the case. And so he gave us a lot of, you know, different ideas on how how to come up with lyrics, that was one of them. Basically, like taking a book or a magazine and ripping up words. I mean, Bob Dylan did this in a lot of different other. That's why his lyrics are so confusing because they were random. A lot. But like to yeah, and then kind of move them together. So I have a song on the EP called Jimmy, which I was in that class when I wrote it, and it was basically I had a running magazine that was in my house and like was probably like free mailed to us, and I just like kind of started clipping up little advertisements, and one of the lines was like, bring your feet places your like mind could never go, or something like that, which is like one of the first lines of Jimmy. And that song is not about a running magazine, but like it's definitely a testament to how words can have so many different meanings in different contexts. And like I'm definitely always inspired by, you know, the words around me, and I'll have a voice or a notes app of like, you know, different phrases that I hear that I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm always seeking for more inspiration with my lyrics.
Well, and I like the idea of going to a class or taking a class like that, because especially as an athlete.
Yeah.
You know, there are people who are just my brother, a naturally good athlete, but if you don't practice,
yeah,
you can always get better. You can always get, and with music,
totally.
you can always get better. You know, get different, or you know, influences.
Yeah, I mean, music is such a profession of like you are a lifelong learner, and like I know like I have such respect for my bandmates for like the attention that they put to their craft as well, and I know, you know. Yeah, they sit down with their instruments and to kind of do that. Yeah, that's something that I strive to do as well. It's just like practice is, and not just like playing, like I did this a lot with classical piano, like just playing the song through just to play it through, but like to like intentionally work on parts. It's kind of different. Yeah.
I know you mentioned Nate earlier, but do you want to mention some of the other band members? Just
so Nate is also the drummer in Humbird and Squinny, among other bands. He's such a rock star. I have so much love and respect for him. Maddie is also just an amazing person, and plays in a lot of different bands: Willow Waters, Sister Species, Ani XO, and just a joy to have in the group. I mean, just not only for bass but also provides backing vocals, and Jared is not only the lead guitarist but also is a sound engineer as a profession, and he does a lot of live sound around the city. And I mean, if it wasn't for Jared, a lot of these songs wouldn't sound like they do. The first ever song I put out on Spotify, Genie, was mixed and mastered by him, and that was all because when I put my initial like Instagram account out with like myself being like, I'm gonna be more public about my music, he DM'd me on Instagram and was like, if you ever need someone to do any engineering with, let me know. And I was like, yes. So that song was recorded in my bedroom, and then all his tracks sent to him, and he's been like really quite a pivotal person in the back end of Kiernan.
Well, that's funny. So your band is really formed through Instagram, Craigslist, and an interesting way to kind of get folks together. Yeah,
well, I will say too, Jared and I went to college together. He actually played on the men's soccer team at Carleton, so we both have that background, and so I knew him before. And then Maddie and Nate were definitely from, you know, just connections in the music scene, and you know, I guess it never just hurts to ask. I would say I was very intimidated, like, asking both of them, because I just was very, I respected their music so much, and, it worked out.
That's great.
Yeah, and it was all just because I asked.
Well, and yes, and you're very talented. It's you have to remember it's talking about anxiety, and your voice is so calming to hear.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it's just really, it's very soothing. It's very, Thanks. I can feel like my nerves go down a little bit when it's on.
Thanks.
Yeah, what you have found to solve yourself, you offer to others. I think that's fantastic.
Well, that's the goal, is to make music in community.
That's good.
Yeah.
Should we play another song?
Yeah, let's play Jimmy. That was the one that I was just talking about with the kind of running magazine, and so maybe you'll find that.
A collage
it was
of Jimmy.
a collage. Yeah, that one is the song that I wrote the earliest that's on this EP. I wrote that in 2021, so it's been sitting with me for a long time. Yeah, this is Jimmy.
Jimmy. I thought that was interesting. The cutting the. I have one of my kids does a ton of collaging.
Yeah.
But mostly visual. But I wonder if I could get her to.
Oh yeah, word collage is so cool. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
my water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
What's funny is it would be a good idea for any kind of problem solving. I think
Yeah. Definitely.
whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
If you're doing more creative, I guess.
Right.
Well, though.
So how'd you get this radio show?
I've done it for a number of years now. A few years before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And they were looking for community people. And so I decided, I live very near here.
Yeah.
So all right. I had dropped a kid off at college, University of Winnipeg, and I'll drop her off. All she wants is a job and to have a radio show.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, she got those. And she graduated years later, but so that was good. But as a mom, you're like, but you're going to study, right? I went back maybe a month and a half later, and she had me on her show, and I thought, well, this is fun. I never thought I would I was very shy as a kid, and even for work, people would ask me to be on the radio, and I'm like, oh, God, no. And now I'm doing,
What do you do for work?
I write about rural broadband.
Okay.
I know a lot about rural broadband in Minnesota, so if you pick something really niche,
Mm-hmm.
and the competition is you and like two other people, you can become very smart at things. So.
Great.
Yeah. But before I'd be like, no.
Yeah, I did a little bit of college radio too. I had a show where we just played francophone music, which is fun. It was all in French. And then when I graduated at my house because it was 2020. We all were sent home. And so the last semester of college, I had a radio show with my dad where we were streaming from my house.
Oh, that's fun!
Which was very sweet.
Oh, we're gonna ask you about that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
really cool.
So you're a hot minute older than my kids, but because two of mine went to University of Manitoba and Winnipeg, I said stay up there through all of COVID. I said seems safer up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then once the vaccines came, I'm like, come on back. And then the youngest had to share. She had to share again. There's a gold side to the pandemic for that girl.
Yeah.
That is Jimmy by Kiernan. Kiernan.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kiernan.
It's alright. People get it wrong all the time.
Well, it's because I have several friends named Kieran, and I have a couple friends whose first name is Kiernan.
Oh, cool.
So I was gonna screw it up one way or another. We have Laura in studio, so I'm just gonna. We were talking a little bit while you were playing this song, and you have to tell me about your college radio experience because I think this is awesome.
Yeah. Shout out to Carleton KRLX Studios. I think it's the oldest college radio station in the country, or one of them. And I, when I was a senior, I had a radio show with my friend Gabby, and we did all French music, because we were French majors. But then we were brought home due to the pandemic, and in the spring of 2020, and so I graduated at home, and I wanted to keep my radio slot, so I decided to have a show with my dad. And we played music together and talked, and it was kind of just like we gave shout outs to all our family members and got requests from them. He he worked in radio for many years. He worked
Okay.
at CBS Radio, and so like he has like a lot of nostalgia and kind of respect for radio, and so it was cool to do that with him.
You must have learned fun things about him and your whole family, and just
Yeah, definitely. It was really cool to like see him really energized about it. Like, you know, the morning of our radio show, he would like come knock on my door and be like, all right, I have a list of songs that I think we should play today. And he would be very intentional about them. Like, he really liked like the kind of the game of figuring out like how songs like match together. And, you know, I remember he was like, let's play that song by Rihanna that's like, I've been everywhere, man. And then like that song by Johnny Cash.
I can help you out with the Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
I might have been a little slower, but yeah.
Yeah. And he thought he was genius for putting those back to back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But what a gift to spend that time with your dad. That's even better than a road trip with your dad.
Yeah, just locked in the office for an hour playing some tunes. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you got to have that experience. I just think that that's amazing.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Well, and I hope it took some of the edge off. Missing the last...
Definitely was a hard time, yeah, in many other ways, but that was like a shining moment, yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back to the songwriting, you said you've always wanted to have a band.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, did you start humming and thinking about songs that you couldn't play as a...
Yeah. I mean, I started writing like little songs on the piano when I was young. And in my head, I would like, you know, like kids do, they would dream. Yeah. They would be like, oh yeah, this is so good. Like one day this is going to be like, I'm going to be on Disney Channel. Like it's going to, child prodigy. And you know, here I am at WMCN. Living the dream.
Yeah.
But I remember like in middle school, my friends and I we pretended to have, it was a pretend band called Captain Iceberg, and I think I was a little bit of a dictator in that band because I was the only one allowed to have a real instrument. Everyone else, my friend Kristen played the Guitar Hero guitar and just kind of pretended to play bass, and then my friend Sarah had like one of those like little kid drums and you know, we performed for my mom. That was great.
That's awesome.
But I think that like that kind of play band was reflective of like a dream reality I had of like one day doing that.
Do you bring some of those skills into the band now?
Of
dictatorship? Yeah.
Well, I try to make the band as, you know, as communal and welcoming as possible. I hope I'm not a dictator.
But it's funny that's, I mean, because that is not a game that I played as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, I would write plays as a kid. Yeah, I would
really?
write because that's what I like to do. I like to write. But how about you, Jenny? Did you play any of these games when you were a kid?
I did not. I was a reader. Surprise, surprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I just think that's, I mean, you know, it's that show me the child at 7.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. Yeah.
Should we talk a little bit about some of your upcoming shows, particularly the one at the Turf Club?
Yeah, we're playing at the Turf Club at the end of the month, Saturday night. It's I believe it's the holiday weekend, so you know you can. It's August 31st, and I am very excited to play at the Turf Club. We never played before there. We played at 7th Street Entry for our release show, and it's an awesome lineup. It's got Faith Boblet and Clay Fulton and the Lost 40, and I have yet to learn how to pronounce this last group's name, but I think it's Hayali. And so it's going to be a great show. Clay is bringing up a bus of folks from Rochester, because that's where they're from. And so I'm really excited for that night.
That'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the idea of bringing up a bus from home.
Yeah, right? He was like, if we can get 40 people, then it makes it worth it to rent this bus. Like, you know, we'll leave at 5 p.m. and get back by midnight. Like, I think that's great.
Yeah, Rochester's not that far.
Yeah.
And I guess I just went down to see a show there not that long ago.
Yeah. That's nice of them to make it all this way.
I hope it works out. Yeah.
And the turf clubs, well, and if they come early, they can go to the state fair.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. It can be a whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's state fair weekend. You know, you spend all day eating corn on the cob and fried pickles, and then you come to the turf club.
Yeah.
It's an easy walk. I
Yeah.
can tell you for sure. From
Yeah.
the state fair to the turf club, I have done that more than once.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Just
because I love the turf club and I love the state fair.
Yeah, there you go. So hand in hand.
Yes,
That's a
exactly.
good
All the
reminder. We can
highlights.
advertise together.
Yeah. No, that'll be a great show. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks.
Should we play another song?
Yeah. I was thinking we've been playing the album or the EP is a little bit of a mishmash of genres because I tend to write a lot of different kind of songs, but we heard kind of more of the Americana side of the album, and maybe we could play Gloria, which is more of the indie rock side of that. It's got a lot of different sounds in it from the let's just say there's no banjo in here.
All right. Gloria by Kiernan. Nice. It's a good collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was worried that they wouldn't all work together, but I think they do if you listen to it like top to bottom. The title track, Magnetic North, is like 6 minutes long, so I don't know if we should play it here, but it's definitely the kind of glue between the two, I think.
I'll keep that in mind. We have a theme every week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's books this week because Jenny has a bookstagram. So
Great.
yeah. But there are times when the theme is a little more difficult than I think it's going to be. So then I'm trying to find, and I'm like, I just need like 4 more. There's certain bands, Low, Alpha Consumer, Fat Kid Wednesdays, that I'm like, they could have a nice 10-minute song for me.
Oh yeah, this song is
6
long.
minutes.
Yeah, this song is pretty kind of long too.
That's okay. I mean, it's just went to go see a band and I had to laugh because all these, and it wasn't punk music, and all the songs were under 3 minutes. And I thought that I love punk music. I think 2 minutes is great, but I always think that they're as long as they should be. People are always about writing stuff, and I'm like, just write until you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
I just know.
Yeah.
Do you want us to play Magnetic North?
If you can.
Yeah, then we'll just ask you a couple of quick questions, and then we'll just end with that, and then we'll go, because I know that students aren't going to, but I always like to be done on time in case there are. It's my modeling of next.
Good.
Yeah, we're happy. I mean, if not here, where?
True.
That is
play
the
the
beauty.
record.
That's the beauty of college radio. You can play what
Yeah.
Just as long as there are no F-bombs. That's
There is no F-bombs. Yeah.
Every now and again, a song will slip through, and I'm like, this is the oh shit button. But I'm like, my reflexes are not there.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Does it just bleep out, or
Yeah, I think it
stop
would
the
just
whole
be
song?
No, it'd just bleep out a second. So I'm like,
Okay.
how would you?
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is there's not. It's defined by the community. There aren't a list of certain words you can't say, which makes it harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to remember really quickly, we had a lot of different folks come in to play with this album, so I want to make sure I shout them out.
Okay. Yeah, think now. Anything else? Da, 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 da.
It's okay, we got like one more minute. Yeah, this song is interesting. This was like the most, I would say, heavily produced of them all.
Oh.
A lot of sounds in this outro. There's like a saxophone and this is some samples. We sampled a like a monk choir.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because it's kind of about like growing up Catholic a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I could write that one. That was Gloria by Kiernan. And we have Laura Kiernan in studio.
Hey.
That's lovely.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, you were telling us a little bit about the song, what was playing, and all the different production that went into it.
Yeah. I had a vision for this song, I think, more than the other ones, of like really wanting the outro to be kind of like a wall of sound moment where it was like there's not like any really distinct, some like melodies that like flow through it, but I really wanted it to be like a big sound moment, and so we layered a bunch of tracks onto that, like several different sax tracks played by Will Elnis. We had a like auto-tune vocals kind of layered in there that I was doing. Jared was doing some lead guitar stuff. We had like some synths underneath it. And I was also sampling a little bit of a monk choir because I really wanted like I wanted to have in there like subtly like the da 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 da, like, which is like a little bit of like a kind of hymnal.
Yeah.
I didn't sing it right, but like that's in there very subtly, and so that it was all layered together, but we kind of started with the bass tracks of like the bass and the drums and the guitar, and then went from there.
So you start, when you were writing music, was just having some time, humming a little bit, and then on to this point of production.
Yeah, I mean, I think like working at a home studio is hard because you can just keep recording as long as you want. It's like recording to infinity, and I think we met that a little bit with this record or this EP. Like it was we spent a long time, and Jared definitely spent a long time like just getting everything right, and I also just really enjoy though the time that you get in the studio to just like try things out, which is like kind of a benefit of a home studio session where you're not paying for your time in the studio.
Oh yeah.
And so that a lot of making Gloria especially was like getting to workshop things and like try out different ways to play the sax parts, or kind of work through some synth sounds underneath and stuff. Yeah.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I could see where that could be a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it definitely was a rabbit hole a bit, yeah. And all of these songs actually have some layer. I recorded myself playing piano on them too. So that's they have like more tracks on them than we have when we play live.
I was gonna ask, how do you do that transition? Just
yeah. So I mean, like for example, we have Angeline, which has a fiddle on there, and that is just Jared just plays some guitar licks during that part instead of a fiddle. But you know, it was a dream of mine one day to get to have like more instruments on stage, because you know we had our friend Jonah play some pedal steel parts. Jonah's in Squinny with Nate as well as Harlow, and is just an amazing pedal steel player. And nice. So yeah, it would be cool to have like pedal steel moments on there. Kyle Stokes played the banjo on there. Yeah, stuff like that.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Very cool. I know we want to play one more song, mm-hmm. So tell folks how they can find you and remind them about the Turf Club show or any other shows.
Yeah, definitely. Well, primarily our Instagram is where you'll get the most up-to-date information, and that's just at Kiernan, KIERNAN _ the band. And that has all of our upcoming shows. Our show at the Turf Club is August 31st. That's a Saturday, State Fair weekend. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
And that's our next full band show. And I'm planning a little bit of a tour for this fall. We're going down to Wisconsin, so we're excited to kind of take it on the road a little bit.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about Magnetic North, and we'll play it, and we'll.
Yeah, so this is the title track of the EP, and it's a very soft song. I wrote it about a lot of different things, but I think it has a lot to do with the love I have for my mom and for my family, and it again was kind of like I was really playing with dynamics in this song, with like how to make the softest softs and the loudest louds, and it was very delicate recording it. It's mostly about like the emotion that each player is playing, and kind of like before we recorded this, like I was kind of just like, all right, every single note that we play, every hit of the drum, like every note on the guitar, like is just intentional. Like that's the idea behind it, is to just for me, like I don't necessarily think that the more notes makes a song sound better, but just like to have less notes that are played with deep intention is where the song was coming from, in that headspace.
So basically, I think that is kind of what brings the serenity to the sound.
Yeah,
everything is so intentional.
Yeah, it's definitely a very serene song. Yeah.
I'm going to thank you so much for being out. We'll play this out, but thank you for being in here. I will look forward to the show at the Turf Club on August 31st.
Thanks.
Lovely music. Here we go.
Thanks for having
Kiernan.
me here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, very cool.
That was the only way I was going to be able to sneak that one. And I'll